Hello and welcome to Pop Snitch Pod. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Brandon.
And we have been watching old Real Housewives of New York episodes at an alarming pace. Really, me. I restarted the series. I had watched some of it in the early seasons and then kind of left off. I'm now on season 9, and I think I started watching 2 weeks ago. I think it's a mental illness at this point. But I brought Brandon in on my journey. And what do you think of it?
Okay, well, I have to gather myself because these women, in my opinion, and from what everyone on our podcast knows about me, I tend to be attracted to a little bit finer of a wine, with a little age. And these women are by far the most beautiful women, but also the most fiery and lunatic, fringe-driven people I've ever met. And there is something about that just really fires me up. And so I am loving it.
Who's your favorite?
Well, Ramona brings such an authenticity to her insanity. The eyes that just shoot out of her head anytime she's about to go out of control. There's something that there's an animal magnetism that I have towards Ramona. I think that Sonia would probably be the most fun to hang out with.
Sure.
Because she's a party. I mean, she even when she finally stops drinking, she's still doing stuff just as wild, completely and utterly sober. I think Bethany is who I would want to go into business with.
Sure.
This woman she is driven. She has vision. She knows what she wants. She's very clear. I a big fan. Dorinda, her level.
You love Dorinda.
Oh my gosh. Her voice, just that raspy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Raspy, low tone. She has a mothering spirit in a weird way. But she will fire up and she will defend herself. There is just something about each and every one of the women that just draws me to them. And I've never watched a show like that before, where every single character, I'm just drawn to them. And
you don't like Carol, though. Carol
wait.
loves younger men.
Countess Luann.
Oh, boy.
I mean, her delusion about who she is and her draw and but then also having this crazy control over men.
Yeah.
I mean, there is just something about her that draws you in. And you think just when you think you've kind of been I don't know how I feel about this person, they draw you back in. And I think that's the key of RHONY. And even Carol, who up to this point, I had not been really drawn to. I'm drawn to Carol's political persuasion.
Oh, sure.
We're watching the 2016 season, and this woman is incensed about the election. She's so worried.
I feel the same way. I remember I literally had to fast forward through parts of that particular election party episode because I had PTSD. But I am so excited for us to watch the one where they go to Little Italy in the Bronx and they eat at this Italian restaurant and Dorinda loses her mind. The thing about Dorinda is sometimes I can't tell if she's sober, if she's on cocaine, or if she just talks in a constant slur. She's trying to go, you tell me what, and it's wild.
If she even has a drop of inebriation,
yes,
the lips just completely unfurl, and she's slurring. She's slurring in a bad way.
She's slurring. Her eyes are all wide, and I cannot believe I have never been more disgusted by any man than I am by that man that she is on the show with.
Well,
John, what's his name?
John.
Ugh.
Well, and he's just I don't want to speak on anyone poorly, but he is so beneath her station.
Oh, yeah.
This woman is a queen. She deserves to be worshipped. And he is a scummy, skeezy, coke-addled lunatic.
He's just a sweaty, fat, balding loser. He lives in Queens and she's on Park Avenue. And no hate to Queens, we live in Queens. means.
Well, and all those things would be fine. Sweaty, balding loser would be fine if he was nice to her, if he treated her properly, if he cared for her friends. Like, all of those things would be washed away by a great personality.
That's true.
That he does
a great
not
personality
have.
He does not have. He's boring. He's weird. She's constantly telling him, like, I don't really want to do PDA. And he's like, come over here. Kiss me with some tongue. And I'm like, get a grip.
Oh, my God.
Good God. You're like in the middle of the Regency hotel. And like, he's like, I just need some tongue. Also, by the way, the sight of Luann when she is engaged to Tom, those of you who know RHONY will know his indiscretion happened at a hotel right next to where Brandon works and where he has seen all kinds of people come in and out of.
The Regency Bar, which is in the bottom of the Regency Hotel on Park Avenue, it is truly the meeting place, the melting pot, if you will, of the Upper East Side's and Midtown East's upper crust.
Elite. Yeah, for sure.
They hang out there in this hotel bar and they drink until all hours of the night during the week. This is like Wednesday night. This is
it's
Tuesday
on the school
night.
baby.
This is because these people, most of them are all either retired or like barely working. Like, these people are out.
Brandon, no, they are utilizing cocaine. Like, that is what's happening. That's how they're staying up late. That's how they're like getting through their day.
I'm just a little boy. I don't know anything about these words that you're talking about. I refuse to believe that my heroes on RHONY are using such drugs.
Oh, that's cute. No, it's Adderall and cocaine for sure. You can't think about how old they are. You can't stay out until 5 or 6 at night in your 50s if you do not have a substance, especially drinking alcohol. Unless you're drinking tequila, it's a downer. Like, it just doesn't. Yeah. 2 and 2 does not equal 5.
If I'm not back to the house by 10:30 on the weekend,
yeah,
I'm not well. I need to be in bed watching my programs by 11 on a night that's on the weekend when I have nothing going on the next day.
Listen, if it's a fun party, I'll stay out. But that's rare that I find something like actually fun enough for me to at about 11 o'clock not say like, you know what, I want to go home. Sometimes I get to an event and immediately I'm like, I wonder when I can leave. Like, I just can't. I don't know.
I'm sure this was something that was said to you growing up, but probably at a much lower time. But I remember like my mom and dad used to say nothing good happens after midnight. So like, why are you trying to stay out late? You know what I mean? So,
do you remember, like, as a kid, too, you'd, like, fight sleep, like, really want to stay up? Now, if I can crawl into bed at an early time, I'm like, oh, praise God. No one loves going to bed more than I do, truly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I value sleep, and I think I've realized, like, how much of a difference it truly makes to be fully slept
rested,
as opposed to not.
Yeah.
And it probably has the biggest impact of anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I need 8 to 10. For sure, every day for me to function 8 to 10 hours.
Is that, you think that's like doctor prescribed that 10 hours is better than 8?
For women,
optimal?
There's all this study. Well, it's always been like you should get 8 hours of sleep. But as we all know, they usually do studies on men. And then they're like, women, we know you have a whole different chemistry situation, but that's the same. And so they've done studies on women, and women need more time to sleep, which is ironic because women who have children end up getting far less sleep than their partners. But we need more. We have like a lot more going on hormonally. Our brains our brains move at a more rapid pace because more women are like Rolodexing all the stuff that they have to do because they're taking care of work. They're taking care of the kids. They're doing stuff at home. They know how much toilet paper is left. And men are like, work.
Well, this makes sense because, I mean, think about the days when we were like living in caves and huts and stuff. The men are going out, they're doing the killing, they're bringing back food, but the women, they're relaxing. They're taking care of the kids, they're sleeping.
There's nothing relaxing about taking care of children. Like,
they're
get a grip.
sleeping. But I think it was a little more of a free range raising at that time.
Women were still like, the men were going out to hunt, but women were still like cleaning everything, gathering seeds, taking care of children.
They're cleaning the cave?
Of course. You're not going to live in a dirty cave. They're out there sweeping.
Sweeping the cave. All right.
Yeah. Listen, if I had been in a hut, I'd be sweeping that cave. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I couldn't live in a dirty cave,
I'd be like,
wiping it down.
Go play in the woods. Mama's sleeping.
Yeah, I would need to be like a little bear. Like, Mama's in a hibernation. You guys fend for yourself. Good luck. But yeah, no, thank God I am not conscious of ever having lived in that time period.
Yeah, I don't think you would have fared very well. I definitely wouldn't have.
Well, I'd have been blind. I think about that a lot. Like, if I'd been born at any different time, I'd have a cross eye.
Like, without being too mean, okay? Without being too mean. If I was just born into a time when people lived in like caves and the main male like drive was to like kill and like provide, how do you feel like I would have fared in that society?
You would have died as a child.
I would be a dead child. That's what you're. Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
You're too sweet for all that. Like, you really are.
What did they do? What'd they do with the sweet children? What'd they do with the sweet children?
Unclear. We don't know. I mean, also, you wouldn't have lived that long anyway. They were living until like 25 or something.
True.
So
interesting.
You die as a child. It's like you live till 30. Well, that's a real downer. Let's get into the news. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that post that went viral with Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard, because I thought it was really interesting. And I wonder if we'll be on different sides of this. She posted something for their anniversary that was like, he once told me that, I promise I won't kill you. I have a lot of incentive to kill you, but I promise I won't kill you. Is that essentially what it was?
Yes, essentially. Okay.
And people went berserk online, and I would love to hear like your perspective of it.
All right. I mean, I haven't given it much thought, but I'll give you just a little bit. Number
just
one,
off the cuff.
I find that both of them are not funny. Like in their real life, they think they are. They both think they're hilarious, but they're not funny. They're
suffering from the Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively syndrome.
And what is it called when you have gallows humor or what? Is that it? Right? They have like a gallows humor with each other. They joke about
dark
like
humor.
Slightly inappropriate things. I mean, not crazy inappropriate, but like inappropriate for the probably the world that they live in for sure. And I think that this is a perfect example of that. To them, this was funny, jokey, humory, like, men kill women. But people out in the real world are dealing with real things like being abused by their partner or whatever. And of course, like, there is a little bit of overreaction online to these kinds of things. So I think it's like a both and situation. Like, I cannot believe people are coming for them like they are, but also they don't think about stuff before they say it. I mean, a perfect example is like pretty much anything on his podcast. Like, he talks out of his butt and he doesn't think about what he's saying, and then has to have like his co-host correct him. But then there's a power imbalance there. So I don't feel like she can actually attack him in the way that she needs to. So it's a really hairy, I find their relationship in the public part of it really hairy because of all the reasons that I just listed. But do I think that do I think that she needs to be necessarily reprimanded for like not thinking through this anniversary post? Probably not. But at the same time, it is pretty short-sighted to throw that out there and not realize that she herself is going to get pushback about this.
I mean, I saw it on my feed. I rolled my eyes and kept scrolling. And I think like part of me is like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, not everybody has to be a spokesperson for everything. Like, it's exhausting being online and people losing their minds over things. It's like, what if, and hear me out, you just blocked her? I mean, because that's my whole thing with the people who get mad at these people. I'm like, the best thing you could do is not give them your attention. That's what's paying them. That's what's making them do outrage stuff. The best thing you could do, unfollow. Don't worry about it. But instead, she has to like limit her comments. She has to do all this stuff. And I agree with you on like the way that she posted. I think being married to Dax Shepard is like a humiliation ritual. I really do. Yeah. Because he is so insufferable and he's obviously so jealous of her. He's constantly talking about how she makes more money than he does. And he did this podcast years ago to try to like, bring stuff in, I guess, because he's not really a great actor and nobody was hiring him anymore. And then he, went back into treatment. I guess he got hooked on painkillers or something after an accident on his motorcycle. He has like a death wish where he wants to do all of the stuff that makes him feel like a man, and he's constantly talking about that. And like, no shade to him for going back in recovery. I think it was actually great that he admitted it. He talked about it and was open. I think that's good for his recovery and for them. But for her, like, I can't imagine being with someone who just was like that. Like, he's a constant one-upper. I stopped listening to his podcast, probably like 8 years ago. Like, I literally couldn't do it anymore. I was like, everything was about him.
Yeah, well, I think I would just like to give a PSA to all couples, okay? And this is something that does bother me a bit. And that is, if you can't make an anniversary post, birthday post, even just a relationship appreciation post without the first or second line of it being like, life has been so difficult and we have
Marriage ain't easy.
We've overcome so many hurdles. I have no idea how we've gotten to this day alive.
Yeah.
But thank God for them. I love them. We'll never be separate. Like, please, God, we don't need a picture into your relationship in this way. Save this for your therapist.
Truly.
Do not start your relationship post with, only by the grace of God have we made it another year. I'm like, my
maybe you should
God.
find an attorney. Yeah.
Literally. We don't need this. Is this for us? Do you need to convince us? Or is this for you? This is my question.
You're so passionate about this.
I am, because it's like every single post I see about our anniversary, it's like, only by the grace of God have we made it another day.
I'm like, if I get to an only by the grace of God moment, your stuff's going to be out on the sidewalk. Like, I got no interest in dealing with that.
I've disappeared. I'm in Mexico, if that's how I feel about the relationship.
Yeah, and we talk about that all the time. Like, people are like, I made this union with God and I'll be with you forever. And I'm like, I don't ever want to be uncomfortable. So keep it on your toes, buddy.
We will be in this as long as the good Lord tarries.
As long, we will be in this as long as it works for both of us.
As long as this works for both of us. Now, it has worked for 16 years.
This is true. But we don't know. We don't know what the future holds. And that's why we don't go.
We don't know what the future holds.
I'm just saying, like, we don't know what the future holds. That's why we don't go on. But I will also say, marriage has not been hard. Like, genuinely.
Well, I mean, yeah, I feel like you were going in on a post. Well, here we go, another year.
It's been 16 years, but we don't know what the future holds.
It's been working, but I don't know what the future holds. Who knows where we'll be a year from now?
But I think it keeps you from being trapped. Like, when you have that perspective, I think people make poor choices and do things, especially as we get into middle age, because they feel trapped. And
resting on those laurels, if you will.
Yeah. And so it's like, it's important to be like, I don't know what the future holds right now. I'm loving this. I've loved it for 16 years. It just allows my brain, because I don't like being trapped in anything. The minute I feel like someone's trying to pin me down, I'm like, I'll quit my job. I'll quit. I don't like it. And so that's how I think about it. And it's why I never go online and I'm like, oh my God, these 16 years have been difficult.
Well, I'm going to have to bring home Cartier and some roses or something to keep you with me, I guess. So I guess things are starting to crack beneath the surface.
You act like we haven't talked like this before.
I'm scared.
Oh my God. Tell you what I always tell you, get off the cross.
All right, what's next?
Oh, well, speaking of breakups, Benny Drama and Terry have split. Benito Skinner put out the show Overcompensating, which I think was one of my favorite shows of the year. And he and Terry have been together for 10 years or something?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long time.
They've been together for a really long time. And he talked about it on Ride and how there's still a lot of love there. It's just not working. But it made me so sad. And I felt sorry for him too. He's like, I just feel like the kids are going to be disappointed because they were such a good, strong relationship. They don't actually have children. He just meant the listeners, the youngins. And I don't know. I was just really saddened by it. I'm happy that they're making the right decision for them, But yeah, I was bummed.
Yeah, it's always sad when a successful Hollywood couple breaks up, because it's you want to believe that can work. When you have I feel like when you're in Hollywood, or even when you've got two high-powered people, it's like you've got competing interests a little bit. Like, it's really hard for one person to kind of take a back seat to someone else. Not that that's what happened with them, but I feel like that is always a thing because, like, I imagine Benny Drama's working. I imagine he's traveling. I imagine Terry's also traveling for different things. Like, it's kind of like two ships passing in the wind, probably more so than if one of you's in it and one of you's not.
Yeah. I think one of the only couples I can think of that, well, there are a couple. You've got Eva Mendes and Ryan Gosling. They've been together for a while.
But she stopped her career. Yeah.
Kind of the same thing for Rita and Tom Hanks, where Rita kind of stopped working or just did things sporadically. They're a long-lasting couple, but he had been married before, too. I'm trying to think of anybody else who's like been in Hollywood for a long time and stayed married.
Ted Danson and what's her name?
Oh, she's so pretty. Yeah. I can't think of her name though. Yeah, they've been together for ages. But I mean, it's always interesting to me when people break up in their 50s and 60s. Because I feel like I know so many people who end up separating in their 40s. But 50s and 60s is becoming more and more common now. And I guess it's because women are like, well, I can't wait on them to die. These people are living until like 90.
Do you think is that a stat that you know or that you are familiar with? Like if it's more the women who end the relationships or if it's the men?
Actually, don't know that. I know from listening to Esther Perel that typically women are over it before men and they are like planning their departure. So a lot of men will be like, oh, we stopped fighting or everything was fine. And really the women have just tapped out. So when the women come back and say like, I'd like to separate, I'd like a divorce, they're so shocked. Lots of very surprised men.
Because the men are shocked that the women are not, their needs aren't being met. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So I think like, it would make sense to me. I'm certain a lot of men do too. And usually it's because they found someone else. Because marriage works better for men than women, like, it's like men have someone who's going to clean the house, going to make sure there's dinner, going to work a full-time job, bring in a salary. Like there's a lot of benefit there, especially if you have children, to being married. And that's why a lot of men, when they separate or divorce, want to get married again. And a lot of women are like, you know what? I'm good. I'm actually really at peace with it just being me.
Yeah. I do feel like that's one thing, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I do feel like that's one positive thing about our relationship. I feel like if our marriage or our relationship dissolved right now, both of our lives would get worse.
Yeah, no, totally.
You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
I really appreciate that. Like, I know my life would really get bad, but there are things that I provide for you, I feel like, that you would be missing out on as well.
For sure. For sure.
But I don't know a lot. There are a lot of couples I know where I'm like, somebody's going to be.
You would be, I want to tell
somebody's going to be on the upswing.
Yeah, you would be so much happier if you dropped that dead weight. But no, you are not dead weight. I mean, there are so many men who are like, you know what? I don't want to work. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I'm not providing for you in any way. But thank you so much for being subservient to me. And I'm like, excuse? And this is why I'm glad we moved out of the South and that I did not marry someone with that mindset when I was young, as I feel like my mother wanted me to, because I would have been divorced and probably, I don't even know, I'd probably had a couple kids. And I'm just grateful that I'm not in that spot.
How long do you think you would have survived with a man who was telling you, I'm the head of this union and you will be, submissive to me?
Submissive makes me want to vomit. Not long. But the question is, how long would he have survived, honestly?
No,
Because he'd be like, will you do this? And I'd be like, no. Well, I told you to. I don't care. What are you going to do? So, yeah, no, I would not have lasted long or at all in that situation because I don't do well with people trying to inflict their authority on me when it's not earned.
But I think even when I met you, or definitely in high school, if I would have seen you, you would have paid some lip service to like wanting that. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe, yeah. Did you know your screen's blurry?
Yeah, it's because somebody was calling my phone.
Okay. Yeah, I probably would have, when I was still in that bubble, have said, like, I just want a man who could lead me spiritually. But I didn't mean, like, literally.
Right.
Because as long as I remember people trying to tell me what to do, I was like, I hate that. I really don't like it because I love my mother, but she was very controlling when I was growing up. And the minute someone starts trying to do that to me now, I absolutely flip my lid. I do not like it. I mean, we have a rule that I'm not allowed to do things I don't want to do.
Yeah, I'm really glad that I'm with somebody that's very strong-minded and very driven like you are, because I think if I was with someone who's similar to me or has like a more like, I guess, I don't know. Female presenting is not the word I'm looking for. But like a stereotypically...
You're more type B.
Yeah. And so I think if I was with somebody who is looking to me to be leading in that's, very male, complementarian way, that I would fold like a lawn chair underneath that pressure.
Well, it wouldn't have worked. Like when we first got married 16 years ago, I was making more money than you. If that had not been the case, if I had been like, Brandon, I'm not going to work, I'm going to stay home for the kids I don't have right now. And I do expect you to provide a salary big enough for all of us to be able to subsist. And that would have been, you would have been miserable. And even asking you stuff like, what do you want to do about this? You'd be like, I don't want to think about that. You get decision fatigue.
Yeah. I don't like making decisions for myself even sometimes.
I know. So it's just easier if I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm willing to do X, Y, and Z. Like if I can narrow it down for you, I feel like you do better.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, that's 100%. I feel like I get really overwhelmed by options.
Yeah.
Narrow it down to 2 for me. I can get you there.
There you go. All right, let's move on to Love is Blind, a show so boring this season that I couldn't even watch the finale. So you could tell us what happened. I think it's pretty easy to tell, but was there anything interesting about the finale?
All I will say is that Edmund and Calibria, is that
Calibria?
Yeah. Thank God she did not marry this man. Like
Literally.
It very much looked like she was going to. And at the last minute, she was like, I cannot do it. And she did not
Did they make it to the stage?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so she did it there. Did he say yes?
Oh, yeah. He was ready. Oh, wow. He was begging her to choose him and to do it. And she was just like, I can't do it. Like,
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he began weeping.
Well, yeah. And the thing is this woman is a caretaker. In her job, in her work, she was drawn to him. And this is not even negative. She was drawn to him because of his story and how it connects with her story as a social worker and all of that. But he's not healed. You know what I mean? He's still dealing with a lot of this stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But he's not ready to be married to a woman of her caliber. Like, just not. She would be bearing the weight.
Like a kid.
Yes. She would be bearing the weight of all of the responsibility and caring for his emotions in a way that would keep him from doing the work that he needs to do to actually be able to manage those things on their own. And the truth of the matter is there's probably a woman out there for him who would push him to do that for himself. But that is not going to be a social worker. The social worker is going to want to step in. They're going to want to, maybe help him, but in probably a way that's not going to be helpful for the relationship. So I'm really glad she made the decision to not be with him.
I don't think she was attracted to him.
Oh, no, I don't think so either. Not once she got a real picture of what was going on.
Yeah.
And then I think that Allie and Anton, they got to the
altar?
To the altar as well. He said yes. And
no.
she was like, no. I mean,
good job, Allie.
I just think like the truth of the matter is, and this is probably the sad part about it, is a bunch of her friends in the final episode, like on their basically bachelorette party, a bunch of her friends came and were like, are you sure that you can marry a truck driver?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And basically said like, and she was like, well, he has dreams of doing this and dreams of doing that and being a restaurateur and all this stuff. And they were like, yeah, there's no guarantee that he won't just be a truck driver. Are you okay with Are you okay with marrying a truck driver? Because that's what he is today. And he's like, if you're not okay with who Anton is today, you should not marry him.
Yeah, don't marry him for what you think he might be. That's definitely a good rule of thumb.
And the look on her
sad.
And the look on her face was, this is the first time I've thought about this.
Oh, girl.
Which shocked me because I'm like, oh, this is new news to you a day before your wedding?
No, well, I've told you that like girls see men as potential by and large. Not everybody, but most women look at a man and they think, I can work with this. And no, you can't. My response to that is, no, you can't.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like there were all these things she was wanting him to change about himself. Like she doesn't want him to party. She doesn't want him to drink when he gets home from work. She doesn't want him to do this. And I'm like, okay, I don't think that Anton is necessarily a drunk. I don't think that he's like an insane partier necessarily. But I will say, but it's like, and the truth of the matter is, he's like, I'm willing to give up all of that to be with her, even if that's the case. But
he didn't show he was willing to give that up while they were living together.
First of all, you didn't watch the final 2 episodes of the show, so you don't know. And they did. He stopped doing all of that, they reconciled all of that. Okay. But the problem is like, if there are all of these things that someone is going to have to change to be with you, it's not a good match.
Yeah.
And
what's
to even just be a baseline of happiness, I'm going to have to change all of these things. And so
don't worry, I'll change my whole personality.
Right. And so I will say the same thing about Sparkle, Megan, and Jordan, who was the final couple that didn't make it to the altar. They didn't even make it to the altar. She called him and was basically like, come over to the apartment. He comes over to the apartment and she's like, I woke up last night in a fever sweat thinking about us being married, because the truth of the matter is I'm not willing to change my life in the way that I will have to in order to be with you. Like I have money. I have money. I want to travel. I want to play tennis in the middle of the day. I want my partner to be able to do similar things. I want to be able to pick up in an instant and go somewhere, do something. You can't do that. And he's like, I have told you this since moment one. That your life would have...
led with, I have a kid.
I have a kid. Your life will have to change. All throughout the pods, he's like, hey, it sounds like you're very driven. Sounds like you really are into leisure. Seems like you're really wanting to jet set. I will be unable to do that. Are you good with that? She's like, yes, absolutely. I'm ready to settle down. And literally at the end of all of that, for that to be the reason... just really shook me and made me mad. And I feel like he handled it very well. He didn't get overly mad, but he did just say, like, I think you really, like, you took this too far.
Yeah,
because
you should have not.
I've been leading with all of this and all of the honesty that he had provided from the very beginning of, like, this is who I am. This is my situation. This is my financial situation.
Well, why did she meet his child? That's what would make me furious if I were him.
He broke down during the interview because they were like, do you have any regrets? And he was like, I let her meet my child. And he like broke down. And I'm like, that's really sad because it shows that he really thought that there was no way. At that point, he thought there's no way she'll say no. There's no way she'll shut this down.
She was looking at houses for them.
And honestly, like, going back to the conversation we had last episode, it's like the thing she was getting mad at was the fact that he got home from work and needed an hour to decompress and wasn't ready to like fully jump into conversation and stuff. Like, I get that can be I can get that can be frustrating, but at the same time, like that was the moment when she's like, oh wait, like he's not just going to be happy-go-lucky every single second that we're together and like looking to make me happy. And I just think that it just kind of broke down from there. But I'm glad they didn't get married because that would have been really traumatic for him, traumatic for the kid.
Yeah.
Traumatic for her. I mean, yeah.
Well, I told you just before I came on that it was just in page 6 that she's been spotted out with a new guy who's like bald, probably rich there in California, and that she's got a baby. I don't know if it's her baby. I'm assuming so, but it's an infant.
I just don't think that she has the ability to change all of her lifestyle things enough to be with the man who like is working in IT in like a small company and not making a bunch of money. Like I just think
he was like a sales manager or something or like a manager of something, but he was like on site every day. But my point is that if she has a baby now, her point was moot, right?
Well, and the question is like, how did that come about? Who is that person? Is that his baby from another marriage or like another relationship or something?
I mean, I would hope not. It is literally brand new. teeny tiny.
Think about it. You got 9 months of time to not be in a relationship with somebody, and then...
I just don't think if he had been in a previous relationship and that baby was like 2 or 3 months old, that the mother would be comfortable with it being spotted out with Sparkle Megan.
Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, that's gotta be her baby.
The same amount of information that I do.
But I just think it's ironic.
And no one has said this is her baby.
I think it's ironic that she's like, I couldn't possibly like not play tennis in the middle of the afternoon. And then based on the timeline, if this was 2 years ago, like about a year later, she's pregnant, has a baby. So like she's going to be experiencing everything he said.
Isn't that how it happens? You know what I'm saying? Like you're in a relationship with somebody. Like how many people did we know in college that were in like relationships with somebody? They broke up with somebody because they're like, I'm just not ready to be with somebody. 6 months later, they're in a relationship and they're like, I'm getting married.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think what we've learned is that what Nick Lachey, someone needs to talk to Nick Lachey and say, you know what?
Get rid
Love
of
is
him.
Blind. That is a metaphor. And I know we're struggling with an illiteracy issue here in the United States of America.
Especially within the Lachey family.
Yeah. Like, baby, it's not literal. It's not literally blind. That's not how that works. So I think the premise of the show is stupid. Like, I'm actually sick of watching it now. I don't think it's interesting.
I fully disagree with
lasting.
that. I think the premise and this comes from someone who hates the pods though. Like I do love the pods. And
they're boring.
And there have been some seasons that were incredible. I think the casting is off, and I think not doing it. I think they got to stop with the normies. I think they need to get back into the city dwellers. I think they need like New Yorkers, Los Angeles, Chicago. Stop trying to go out into the Midwest and this kind of like get messy influencers. Like I think you got to go a little more.
Well, I don't want to see what suburbanites 2 hours outside of Denver who want to talk about bigoted things, and then this girl's shocked. Annie's shocked that Nick doesn't want to be with her. Baby girl. Nick doesn't want to be with a girl.
They're also too practical. That's why they're not getting married. Like influencers and people in the city, they're crazy. They'll get married just to get divorced so that there'll be a story for our, reunion episode. Like
right.
That's
do it for the plot.
Yes, that's what we need. Don't get me these people from Colorado who are way too sensible to get married to somebody they just met a couple of weeks ago.
Wait, who else broke up? It was Annie and Nick that broke up. And no,
everyone broke up.
No one got married. But I was thinking Joe and what's her name also had a breakup. And I have to tell you, that guy, the fact that they spent like $20,000 on Man-Child to be the outro to the episode that week, shows you what production thinks of him. But I actually thought he had some of the funniest interviews where he's Nick, I hate him. I don't like him. I don't like spending time with him. But I can't say anything bad about the guy. Here's so funny.
Here's the problem with Joe. And I think Joe gets a really bad rap in the way that this show is set up. Because it's like, it's meant to, it's set up in a way that if a person says, wait, I'm not attracted to this person and I can't wrap my head around this now,
then they're
a piece of crap and a monster.
And if you do it immediately, you're a monster. If you wait until you live together, you're a monster.
There was no way he was coming out of this unscathed. He knew the moment that the curtain went up that this was not going to work. But he tried to entertain it, and honestly tried, I feel like, with some level of sincerity to see, okay, I did fall in love with this person. I did enough to propose to them. I'm going to at least give it a shot,
I guess.
But as any time that the seriousness of this decision came into his purview, he began to break down. Like when he met her friends and they're like, oh, she loves you. She's this. He's like, okay. I mean, his eyes were just like, and another thing is like his eyes were communicating the entire time. Like I am a prisoner. She's
blind, Brandon.
I'm oh my God, you're right. She is literally blind.
Yeah, I I hear you. And I think you're right. I think he was trying to figure out how to handle it. And I will say, like, unrequited love is really painful, but there is nothing worse than like trying to figure out how to get out of a situation where someone likes you too much and you don't know, you're like feeling smothered and you don't want to hurt their feelings. Like trying to exit that is, misery.
Yeah, but I think Joe did the right thing. And I think like, I see myself in these people when they're going through these breakups. And I'm like, if she's sitting there crying and being like, I don't understand, I'd be like, oh, well, maybe we can work on this.
You're like, never mind.
And he's literally like, no, this is not going to work. I want to be clear. Like, this is just, you're not my person. I'm sorry.
I wanted to tell her, like, when it comes to this kind of thing, like, you don't have to understand. Like, there doesn't have to be a reason. And that's what some people just have to, like, wrap their heads around. Sometimes they're just not that into you. And sometimes the chemistry isn't there. It's inexplicable. You can't explain why you feel a certain way because it's a feeling, you know? And if you are just dating for 3 weeks and you can't bring yourself to have excitement about this person, not going to be good.
That's
not
a perfect example. That's a perfect way of looking at it. Like, I think people, like, one of the most disturbing questions that come up for people, especially women, and I think this is just like the way our culture has positioned itself, is that women always ask the question, well, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Or what did I do wrong? Or what is it? What is it that, and I'm like,
what's the problem?
I don't think, at least from a male perspective, my male perspective, like, I don't think it's that clear.
No.
Like, I don't ever have something in my mind where I'm like, this person did this, or this is the reason I don't want to be with them. It's just like, it's not working.
Right.
It's not the right, conglomeration. It's not the right stew.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not the right stew.
Yeah.
You know what? Sometimes it'd be like that. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about SLC. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Mary's fart comes to mind. What I love about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is that it infuses drama with such humor for me. And Brandon and I were watching the part where Mary goes to Angie and is furious. And Angie's like, why are you so mad? And she's like, you made fun of my fart. And Angie is clearly trying to hold back a laugh because she cannot believe that Mary is feeling this way. And then they show you the footage. And you identified with Mary and I identified with Angie. And I was like, how could someone be upset with that? Like, I cannot imagine caring.
I'm going to expose something about myself right now. Okay.
Okay.
And I will gladly take this shroud of shame.
Wow.
But the thing is that I'm very sensitive when it comes to being called out about even things that I have no control over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when I was in a band and when I used to sing a lot, when you come off a stage and you've been singing for 45 minutes, your breath stinks.
Yeah.
Okay. It does. It's a thing that happens. Your breath stinks.
I had to have gum when I taught because I was just talking for too long.
Beyonce comes off a stage, that gorgeous woman,
her breath
glistening with sweat.
Stanky breath.
She got stanky breath. Sorry.
Stanky breath.
It's the truth.
Yep.
And Rachel used to come up to me, like whether it was at like a venue or a church or any of these places that I was singing, and she would say, just so you know, your breath stinks.
Because you're out here hugging people and talking to people.
And it would hurt me deeply.
You would get so mad at me.
And I would get mad. And I knew it was irrational, but it would happen. And so when I see my friend Mary getting upset because someone called out her stinky fart.
But she said she farted. That's why Angie even said anything.
Yeah, but that doesn't, see, that's what I'm saying. That's the irrationality that me and her share, but that I empathize with, is that it still doesn't change the fact that it hurts you. It hurts you deep.
It's just a weird thing to be hurt. Like, I
agreed.
Yeah, I don't
Agreed.
know. I think stuff like
saying.
That's funny. But you and I talked about this. Like, when I was growing up, if someone in our family said something to me that hurt my feelings, my dad would just be like, just laugh. They'll stop. Just laugh. And so I did learn to have like a real sense of humor about myself. Because like when I got I had these huge Coke bottle glasses, braces. I had a tooth missing in 9th grade. Like, It was a dark time. And I just remember if anyone made a joke, I'd try to make a better one or whatever, or I might go for them. There was some of that too. But I just have always been pretty good about laughing at myself. Like if I rip one, I laugh. If I fall down, I laugh. It just does not, I don't take it personally.
Well, I went through many stages as a child and as a young adult. There was a period of time where I was a square, the shape of a square.
Oh, I thought you meant like...
No. My physical embodiment was just a big square. Okay? A big square. People used to call me big boy. These kinds of things. And so when that's in your rear view, okay, I would develop the kind of personality. I got a joke book in my back pocket.
Sure.
I am really nice.
I was going to say, I have a joke book in my back pocket. You're nice. That's like your
empathetic.
Decoy.
I'm a good friend.
People don't make fun of you because you're nice.
Exactly. So when someone comes over the top trying to cut me down with your breath stinks. Who farted? Was it you? That's going to send me back to Square Brandon. Disempowered.
Disempowered Square Brandon.
Disempowered.
DSB.
Low energy.
Disempowered Square Brandon.
Yeah, DSB.
Why were you low energy? What?
Low T.
Oh, you definitely didn't have low T as a teenager. Oh my God. I just think that, I was really hideous for a while. But the picture of me in first grade. I feel like it was a
very appropriate middle school experience for you. Be real. Yeah. Okay. Where everyone is experiencing this. Okay. Great.
Yeah. By the time in high school, I will say my freshman year, I had this right next to my front tooth was missing, and I had braces, and I had a dandruff issue. Yeah. Took me a while to get that one under control.
A little druff.
A little druff. I had to use my dad's dandruff shampoo.
Hey, get the Selsun Blue out.
Yeah. I use it now.
Yeah.
I've got a scaly head. I got to take care of her.
That's true.
But yeah, I remember that, and I couldn't figure out what was happening. And so anyway, that was bad my freshman year. But I had such a level of overconfidence that I think people were afraid of me.
That is not something that I had a vast amount of overflowing.
Yeah, I think my dad overloved me. And so then I was really overconfident. I would come home and I liked these guys that were older than me, were juniors and seniors, and I was an ugly freshman. And I would tell my dad, I really think so-and-so liked me. He told me it was funny. And I remember him being like, they're not into you.
Yeah.
He was like, funny means they want to be with you. They want to be your friend. And I was like, oh. But then he would be like, but you know what? Peaking in high school is for losers. I was I loved it. In ninth grade, you're sure I'm not going to peak in high school.
What a great piece of fatherly advice.
Truly.
Number 1, don't peak in high school. Mm-hmm. Number 2, don't pick in high school. Do not pick the person that you're going to be with forever in high school.
He did tell me all the time because, I was always going to have a boyfriend for a year at a time or whatever. And so when I started dating my first boyfriend in high school, my dad was like, Rachel, play the field. Come on. Don't just date one person. I was like, Dad, we can't all be you, buddy.
Yeah.
But because he was definitely a play the field man.
It's a little bit
married, not married.
A philanderer, if you will.
Rest in peace. I love him so much. Yeah. But he was I think once I became more attractive, when I got my braces off and all of this, and I started actually getting male attention, my dad was like, yeah, this is when you play the field. And I was like, what if I had a boyfriend for 2 years instead?
Yeah.
What do you do?
You did what you could.
Yeah, but he did give good advice. He was always honest with me. If I went to him and I was like, this is what someone said, this is what I think it is. And I talked to him more about this than my mom, because my mom and I have such different personalities when it came to this. My mom would be like, don't talk to them, disappear, look really hot and never speak to them. And I was like, I just can't do that. I don't care. If they don't like me, I actually don't care that much. And I don't want to spend time playing this weird game. And I remember my best friend growing up one day was like, do you just like rejection? I was like, I think I'm just unfazed by it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I was like that because it makes me less afraid as an adult.
I think that like even growing up, like in middle school and early high school, I just assumed no one would want to be with me. And so I didn't even try.
Was this when you were a square? Square Brandon?
Well, no. I mean,
Square Brandon was a middle school Brandon, I feel.
Yeah, Square Brandon was
that when you had Eddie Vedder hair?
There was a point in which I cut my hair right after my 13th birthday.
Is that when you dyed it blonde?
12 and 13. Yes, that is when I had Eminem.
You had like
hair
Eminem,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 11th grade. Yeah, 10th grade. At the end of 10th grade is when I like not shaved my head, but cut my hair short.
Buzzed it, yeah.
And had a little Eminem situation going on.
Sure. I mean, that was the time to do it.
It took forever for that to grow out and be able to be shaved off. And I had let it grow out, and you have like the really crazy roots, and then that was kind of like a look that people were going for, where you had the grown out roots. And then it was coming time for picture day. And I was like, you know what? I really don't want this look for picture day. I think my hair has grown out long enough to just like shave off or cut off the blonde locks and just go with my normal hair underneath. So I told my dad, hey, picture day coming up. I need you to cut my hair down to where there's no longer any, tips.
Blonde.
He did. And I was bald. So my yearbook picture that year, I mean, literally, this is a man who used to have long, flowing Eddie Vedder hair. Now,
you're bald.
I'm literally bald, like a shaved head. And look,
you've got a big head.
A big old round.
A big melon.
Noggin.
Remember when I thought you were buying porn on Al Gore's internet because you were buying hats that said like Big Melon or something?
Well, yes, they were. It was, the name of the company was Odd Job, but one of their hats is called Big Melon.
And I was like, Odd Job, Big Melon on my credit card. And I went in there and I was like, it's free. Like, what are you doing? You're like, those are hats that I get. These are the only ones who fit on my head.
Yes.
But that's how big your head is. So a shaved head, I can see how that would be jarring and maybe traumatic for you. And maybe that's why that's where Square Brandon resides, also inside of Bald Brandon.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. The last thing I want to talk about with SLC is the scene between Brittany Bates and her daughter, Olivia.
Okay.
I mean, this woman is the most oblivious, self-absorbed. It's just such a case of a woman being so concerned about the male gaze and about men being into her. When she said, like, after I got divorced, I wanted to like have that family again. And so I just got married again. I'm like, why would you do that? You just had a divorce that went poorly. You've got your daughter. Like, I don't understand why that's not a time to like hunker down. But I guess she's a little older and like she wanted the feeling of having a family again. I don't know.
It was a mess. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, this woman, I did not know any of this. And I don't feel like they had even set this up in the way that they could have. But she's having a conversation with her daughter, and her daughter's like, you abandoned us.
Yeah. When her daughter was 12.
Yeah. Like, you abandoned us. Like, I had a mother who was caring and loving, and I thought was my best friend in the whole entire world. And you literally just disappeared to be with a man. Yeah. Like, you chose not our father, not somebody you've been dating forever. Like, you literally chose a new man over your family in a way that has damaged me forever.
It was it's worse than even they put on, because it was her second husband. And in their divorce proceedings, it talks about him being abusive to both her and the girls. And so, like, she had filed all the stuff against him, and the girls literally of their own accord went and lived with their father instead. And Olivia was telling her, like, what do you think it was like trying to talk to dad about having a period? Do you not think that was humiliating? And she was just like, oh, well, I just thought you wanted a new dad. Like, a deer in headlights while she's trying. Olivia is telling her, like, this is why we're not close. You don't actually know who I am because you stopped caring about who I am because you were so concerned about what men think about you.
Well, and Brittany had no, like, motherly drive to bring her daughter in and, like, give her any kind of affection. She's just like, oh, that's so bad. So bad for you.
Everything turned into her, oh, I didn't mean to. Oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, if that had been me, I would not have been able, like, I physically wanted to go through the screen and hug that girl and be like, I'm so sorry. I apologize. Like, I cannot believe that her instinct was to make sure her mascara didn't run and that the camera wasn't catching like her makeup being ruined by a potential tear.
So before we go, we have to talk about Bronwyn. And Bronwyn is, in this last episode, is being accused of some sort of like identity theft, grand theft, all of this kind of stuff. And her husband, whose name is
Todd.
This is just shows. I want to call out that Todd is a piece of garbage. I dislike him. I don't think he does not deserve to. I want to say
your reaction and then keep going. But I was fixing dinner and Brandon was watching SLC and I hear him go like, this piece of shit. Like he's like screaming at the screen to Todd at the beginning of the episode. And then at the end, he's like, you know what? I'm kind of proud of him. So yeah, go ahead. You had like a whole evolution through the episode.
But Todd is all, he downplays Bronwyn. He does not appreciate that she is literally a vision.
Goddess.
Yeah, a goddess. He should be worshiping the ground that she walks on, and he's just a big chode. Okay, and
he's not a looker. Got that money, but not a looker.
And even in the last reunion and stuff, they're like, "You're abusive. You're terrible. You need to clean it up." And Bronwyn had said that Todd has made a lot of headway compared to who Todd used to be. I did not believe this at all. But in this situation, Todd is in some sort of finance. And Bronwyn being in trouble with the law and definitely being fraud, grand theft, and identity theft is a huge problem for Todd. And Todd, in this moment, should have been absolutely freaking out and treating her poorly. But he held it all in. He actually supported her. He actually was listening to what she said. And then all he had to say was, hey, maybe the people bringing this stuff up and putting this in the media, maybe don't hang out with them anymore. Maybe that is the very easy way to handle all of this.
I.e., don't be on the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And she's like, I can't possibly do that. So
he said, that's fine, but that's on you.
But it's on you now.
I did get tickled with what he said about Lisa when he was like, I don't know why you want to be with Lisa. I wouldn't piss on her if her brain was on fire, I believe is a direct quote. Correct? What are you doing?
Sorry, I got people. Somebody was texting me.
You were sitting there with your mouth hanging open and your tongue out. Yeah, cute.
Some people talk. Sorry, people are calling me. This has never been a thing that happened. I didn't know that people could even call me when I have the camera working this way. But it's
disturbing knowing what you look like when you're answering a call. Looked like one of those cavemen we were discussing at the beginning. But yeah, so Todd had an evolution. We're happy for Todd. I cannot wait to see the crossover of Below Deck and these girls. The shot for scenes of next week of Angie vomiting on the jet ski.
Incredible.
So perfect.
I cannot wait. And we'll do a recap of both episodes, the one from Australia and this one, so that we know all the details of what happened.
And we only couldn't record last week because we were traveling, or I was traveling, and so it just was not going to be an option.
We'll be back in your ears consistently.
We'll be back shortly. Don't forget to leave 5-star reviews. Thank you so much to those of you who did. Follow us on YouTube, especially. That helps us a ton to get subscribers there. And send it to a friend. Come on.
Yes, popsnitch.com. Become a snitcher by...
a little snitch.
Yeah, become a little snitcher by subscribing. I like snitcher a lot.
No, snitch.
You tell us, people.
Snitches. It's like
snitches,
bitches, but snitches.
Snitches or snitchers?
There's no snitcher. We're not doing a hard R there at the end. No.
I like snitcher anyway.
No, that's hideous.
We'll see you next week.
Bye. So gross.